Alright, hello everybody and welcome to this episode of the Java Game Tutorial Series. This is the 11th episode, I believe, and I'm finally getting back into it. Sorry I haven't posted videos in quite a while, except for those Let's Pixel episodes, but those aren't really programming episodes, so I'm going to get right back into it. In this episode and the few episodes after it, we're going to be creating an inventory system similar to this. Now, this inventory here, of course, is not complete. You can't open or close it. You can't do anything with it. It's just kind of here. Ours is going to be better. This is just a little example of what's to come. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. So, opening up our project here, the first thing we're going to do is perform a little bit of cleanup. So, the first thing we're going to go into is the world class. Now, every time we start up the game, it's going to give us an error down here. That's what we want to fix. It's actually quite a simple fix, and it's kind of sad that I haven't done it yet. So how to do this is down in, actually it's in the class, let me find it real quick. I'm just going to open up all these packages. It's in the playstate package here. See here, world.render. Now the reason it's giving us this error is because we are trying to render the world before it's finished being created. Because remember how we have like the generation of the world. So what we have to do is we have to create a simple null check. So we have to check if world is not equal to null, and just put the world.render into there. Now that will just fix up that little issue. So then, next, after that, we have to fix another little bug that I introduced a while ago. Now, the item entity class is all okay, but let me see if I can get it open where the player is not inside a block. That's something else we're going to have to fix, but we will fix that at a later time, not right now. So let's open it up. Please get a good world. Oh my gosh. 1 second. Okay, whatever. But pretty much when you move, the item entities do not move with the world, they kind of follow the player. Now, the reason that is because in the item entity render here, we're not adding the camera's X offset and the Y offset. So that's pretty simple. All we have to do is add world dot X offset to the X and add world dot Y offset to the Y. So, there we go. Now, we can just get started. So, the first thing we are going to do to get this inventory started is create a new class. And let's select one of the packages so I don't have to enter all the package information. And now this is going to be in a new package called inventory. And we're going to call this ItemStack. Now, the reason we're not going to be using just plain items is because we actually want to have items be stackable. So you can add items on top of each other and all that good stuff. So, now that we have this class, one more thing that we need to do with fixing up is in the item class, we have no way to distinguish if an item is itself. Like, we have the name and everything, but that doesn't really count. We need like an ID or a type. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new class called ItemType, like this, and put it into the item class. And now we're going to change the class name here to an enum. And in here, we're just going to put the item we already have, which in my case, and probably your case, is a stick, as you can see here. Now, in the item class, what we're going to do is we're going to create a private ItemStack. There we go, and then make sure to import that with Control-Shift-O, and right here, we're going to, in the constructor, we're going to go ItemStack. So this is going to take in an item stack. No. What am I doing? An item type. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. Item type. And in the constructor here, all we're going to do is this dot item type equals item type. That's it. And we might want to, since this is private, we want to create a getter for it. Get item type. There we go. That's all we have to do. Okay, so now we can close this. Now you might see over here there's now an error in the ItemStack class. That's because we're not taking it in the constructor. So pretty much all we have to do is add a new parameter to the constructor and go item type dot, and you should see stick come up. There we go. So now all those problems are fixed. So now back into the ItemStack class. What this is going to need is a private int. Let me fix my headset real quick. A private int amount and a private item. There we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create two constructors. So simply create the constructor, and we're going to finish this one, and we're going to copy it down and add an extra parameter, as you will see later. So this one here is just going to take the int item. That's all it's going to take. And down here we want to remove all this green text here and do this dot item equals item. And for the amount we're going to do this dot amount equals 1. There we go. And then what's the problem here? Oh, make sure to make that not an int but an item. Now we're going to copy this constructor, paste it below, and we're going to add an extra parameter. This is going to be the int amount. There we go. And here where it says 1, we're just going to simply change it to amount. Now, you might be wondering why we're doing this. That is because if we just want to add one new item and don't want to specify an amount, we don't want to have to enter the amount every time, so we can just use this constructor. It's just to make things easier. It's not necessary. You can enter the amount manually every time, but I just prefer to do it this way. So now we're going to type in get, hit control space, and we're going to do get item, and we're going to do that one more time, but with get amount. There we go. So now we're going to create yet another new class in the inventory, and this is going to be called ItemSlot. Now this is going to be the thing that is actually displayed, then it has an item stack in it when the inventory is opened up. And this is going to be able to be selected and all that cool stuff. So you'll see what it's for. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a private int x and a private int y. Then we're going to go way up here and we're going to put a public static final int, and we're going to put this as the slot size, and this is going to be equal to a 50 for now. 50 is a good size. We might change it later, but I'm just going to do 50 for now. Now we're going to create another value for it, and this is going to be private item stack. Item stack. There we go. Control-Shift-O. Save that. Okay. So now we're going to create an ItemSlot constructor. And this is going to take in three things. The int x, the int y, and the item stack. Item stack. There we go. Now we're going to do this dot x equals x. This dot y equals y. This dot item stack equals item stack. There we go. So now we're going to create a public void tick and a public void render, and in this render method we're going to have graphics g as a parameter. Oh, graphics g, like that. There we go. And in the render, what we're going to do is we're going to go g.set color, and we're going to set the color to color dot gray, and we're going to do g.fill a rectangle xy, and for the width and the height we're just going to copy slot size, paste it twice. There we go. Now we're going to do that one more time. We're going to do g.set color, but this time we're going to set it to color dot black. And now we're going to do another g dot draw rect, not fill rectangle, and we're going to put an xy and slot size, and slot size. Now the reason we're doing this is this will give it a cool little outline and it'll make it look a lot cleaner. Alright, that is pretty much it for this class right now. We might want to make a getter and not a setter. We're going to just create a getter for all of these. So we're going to do get control space get item stack, and we're going to do another get. I don't think we need to get the X and the Y, so that's good. Now we're going to create now we're going to create a method, and we're going to call it a public void add item. And into the thing here, we're going to pass in a new item. Item. Okay. Make sure to import that. And now we're going to check if item stack does not equal null, because you never know. There could be no item in this item slot. Not every item slot has items. Your inventory might be empty. You never know. So if it's not equal to null, we want to make sure of something. And first we're going to change this void to a boolean. You'll see why in a minute. Now if it's not equal to null, pretty much we're going to check if item dot get item type is equal to this equal to item stack dot get item stack item type. There we go. Now if that is true, then basically, first of all, before we do that, we're going to add another parameter up here, and it's going to be called int amount, like that. Okay? And now if that is true, basically all that we're going to do is we're going to set this dot item stack dot set, we might need to create a setter for the amount. So we just do set amount like that. There we go. Now we're going to do this dot item stack dot set amount equal to this dot item stack dot get amount plus 1. Actually plus amount. There we go. Now we're going to create an else here, and if else, we're going to set this to return false. Like that. And then if it is not equal to null, basically all we're going to do is we are going to set this dot item stack equal to a new item stack, and this is going to be just the item. Okay, like that. And then we're going to set item stack dot amount set amount equal to amount, like that. Okie dokie. And actually we don't have to do that because we have the other constructor, right? So basically all we have to do is just write a comma and put in amount, and it'll still work. Okay, and we're also going to return true. Like that. And we're going to set return true over here too. There we go. And just so it doesn't give us errors right before we close a function, we're just going to put return false. Now why all these return statements, and why is it a boolean and not a void method? That is because if it fails to add the item, what's the problem here? Okay. Whatever. So if it fails to add the item, we want to set return false. So when we're adding the item, we can see, it failed to add, so we have to add it in a new spot. So we don't try to add an item and then it fails and we just lose the item. We don't want that. So there we go. Now the ItemSlot class is done. And we are also done this episode. So thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. And in the next episode we are going to pretty much finish this, and then in the episode after that we're going to add mouse controls, and then we're going to have a full functioning inventory. So that's fun. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next